and I don't want to talk
Well,
like
if I
word vomit
may,
too much about this, but this is
no,
obviously then translating to the game.
you're making good points. If I may, my uncle happens to be a heart surgeon,
There you go.
and I'm sure that he has something very similar
Mhm.
to. I would argue heart surgery is probably, along with brain surgery, brain surgeons, heart surgeons. That's probably the hardest in the medical field and the most stressful. I would imagine that he has something very similar to what you're talking about,
Mhm.
where his ritual to get him into that, for lack of a better term, zone, so he can perform surgery.
Yeah, and, when I talk to athletes about this, I see them sometimes drifting, and they're like, "Ugh, why does this matter that much?" And we end up having to have a deeper conversation about focus because we say, does it not feel the best when you're at the plate and you just feel so locked in, you feel so zoned in, the ball looks this big, the ball looks like it's slowing down, the game in general looks like it's slowing down, you're achieving these states of flow. And they agree. They're like, "Yeah, that feels the best." And I was like, "Well, that's not just going to be a light switch. And yes, maybe sometimes it falls into place for you and you didn't even realize it did, but why not be able to create a roadmap for yourself to give yourself the best chance of being in those high focus positions?" So, um, the main piece is we don't want to create all of a sudden this massive pregame routine or this massive postgame routine that is so steers so far off from what we are normally doing because you're never going to actually implement it. It's the same reason why when people try to implement a weight loss routine or a workout routine and it is so obtuse to their normal day-to-day actions that they can't be consistent with it, right? We want to try to find anchors throughout our day that we normally do. So, do you normally eat before a game? Awesome. Let's find out what that pregame meal is and let's keep it fairly consistent. Do you typically journal? Great. Attaching onto journaling, we're going to add a little bit of visualization. Boom. Do you typically ride in a vehicle to your game? Probably. Let's figure out what you want to listen to on days of games. The big thing that like I get a big eye raise with is, "Hey, are you going to shut your phone off before you head into your game?" And they're like, "Oh no, it's on silent." And we've talked about it before, just how distracting our phone can be to us. But just even if our phone is in our bag and we know there's a potential for it to be operating, whatever it may be, the fact that the actual act of shutting your phone off is very therapeutic for us to be like, "You know what? I don't have anything else I have to worry about right now except the next 2, 3 hours, however long I'm going to be at this field for." And that's
Yeah.
it's very nice. You get to shut the outside world off, school, relationships, whatever it is. Boom, I'm an athlete right now.
Yeah.
The next anchor is, that surgeon says he gets big walking in, trying to be super confident. You're walking into the field. You're getting very, you're trying to be like, "Man, like I get to play ball today." Like, what does that swagger look like? You're not carrying the weight of the world of like, "Oh, I have to do all these essays later. I have to do whatever later." The other thing too is in college, you get changed at your clubhouse, but you might in high school be getting changed in a locker room at the high school or at home, whatever it may be. That is a very crucial opportunity. That's a big anchor that's layering your focus where you're taking off whatever clothes you normally wear and you're putting on your Superman outfit, you're putting on your uniform. And that is a huge focus layer of like, because you don't wear uniforms on a normal day. That's like a big indicator of like, whew, it's game day. I get to wear a uniform today. So you're getting yourself super zoned in for your arrival at the game. And then you would have a similar way to come out of the game, right? Doesn't matter if you're 4 for 4, 0 for 4, you're coming out of the game, you're taking your uniform
I
off,
would
you're
argue
putting
it's
your other
probably the
clothes
hardest
on.
part too, coming out of
Yeah.
the game.
You have, maybe you have your journaling routine, your visualization routine, you're zooming back out, you get in your car, you listen to whatever music, you get home, then you turn your phone back on. And then maybe you have something, you have your post-game meal, you have something else. So you've zoomed in a similar manner, and then you can zoom out in a very similar manner. And that is for the actual game, but you can have mini hourglasses of focus for your at-bats, how you lock in for your at-bat, and then you come back out to go play defense, how you lock in for,
Yeah.
So those are, I think those are really good conversation points. If you're a parent that's driving in the car right now with your kid, or if you're a coach listening to this, I think this is something that it's not that different from what kids normally do. It's just bringing our attention and our awareness to, oh, I'm getting more locked in. I'm getting more locked in. I'm getting more locked in. That I think can be really helpful for people.